Modeling, Topic 3, Section 6, using VBA comments and the application.object. So just one slide for this section. If I want to create a VBA program that does our matrix algebra calculation of portfolio mean, what I can do is I can create a function by typing in the word function, give it a name, we'll call it port_mean, and I'm going to have two parameters. Those parameters are going to be a column of weights, I'll call that W, and a column of returns, I'll call that R. So the first thing I want to show is in VBA, if you would like to specify that the parameter W and R are a range of cells, I can use an object called the as object and say W as range and R as range. That's specifying to the user that those inputs, those parameters, are more than one cell, they're an array of cells. And then I will tell the user how to actually input the data. I want to tell the user I'm going to put a single quote in my program. And that single quote, anytime you put a single quote in VBA, everything to the right is ignored. It's considered a comment. Something that allows the user to see what's going on or it explains to the user. So I put a single quote, meaning this is not going to be executed in the program. I'll say W is a column cell range of weights, R is a column cell range of returns, and I actually describe what the portfolio mean function is doing. Port mean is the weighted average portfolio mean. So two things, as object just specifies for the user that an input or parameter is a range of cells. Single quotes in VBA are comments, and I can actually put a single quote here and actually start writing over here. That'll get ignored also. And then the last couple things I want to show you are the application.object. So here's the actual calculation. Port mean equals, whenever I use, most of the time when I have to use Excel's built-in functions like mmult and transpose and stdevp, I have to just put application dot in front of it. So I can't just say mmult transpose WR, which is the expected return of a portfolio. Remember, W transpose R is the expected return of a portfolio. Well, I can't just write mmult transpose WR in Excel. Or in VBA, I have to do application.mmult application.transpose. The only time you don't have to, and I'll point out in later topics, is when you're using mathematical functions, sometimes like natural logs, you don't have to specify application dot. However, in general, you have to use application dot if you want to use Excel's built-in functions in VBA. So there's my portfolio mean. It's application.mmult application.transpose W, turn that column into a row, times R. And then I can just copy this into my spreadsheet. So if I go to my spreadsheet and hit Alt F11 or go into the VBA area, insert a module, I can now use that function how I wish. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and do that. I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint. I'm going to grab that function, copy. I'm going to go to Excel, Alt F11. Looks like I don't have any modules in there, so let me insert a module. I'm going to paste portfolio mean, and then I could use it right here. Insert, user defined. I'm going to look for portfolio mean, put in my weights, put in my returns, and there's my 6.73%. Okay, so in this topic, we talked about how to use VBA comments and a couple application.objects.